And I'm so sure. Wasn't is Alan? What about Alan?
We should take him off the WhatsApp.
Huh?
Richmond's at 10.
Gotcha. Okay, fine.
I mean,
All right.
let's who cares that we got Mark.
Good morning, everybody. Today is Mem Dalet. So we left off by the Mishnah yesterday. Mem Gimel Beis. The Mishnah says Hachayshev lishlach yad likadain. One who goes ahead and contemplates, he thinks that he considers it, or he even says in front of witnesses, "I'm going to go ahead and use it." That's already considered to be vishlach yad, to already have your hand in it, and therefore would make one chayiv, as we know that a shamer is not allowed to go ahead and use the items. He can't just say it; he has to actually use it. The pasuk says, if he didn't touch it, the Maisi didn't touch it, even if he said it. If he goes ahead, he leaves over a barrel in order to go ahead and take out only a revis from that barrel. V'nishbra, then an oinus happens afterwards. Einu mishalim el revis. He tipped it, and therefore he was only meaning to go ahead and acquire a revis. Therefore, he's only chayiv in the revis. He's not chayiv in the whole thing. He has to be shlach yad in the entire thing, and he never picked it up to make a kinyan. However,
just tipping it is not
right.
Hagbah.
Right, Hagbah. If he lifts it, if he picks it up, the natal haymen revis and takes it revis, the nishbar and breaks, then mishalim to make food. Then he pays for the entire amount because over there he made a kinyan on the entire thing. He did an act that would make a kinyan, and therefore he'd be chayiv. Fine. Okay. Zak the Gemara. Right. Menani Meli, forbidden goes from the Tanur Rabbanan, it says, I'll call Davar Pesha. It says, I'll call Davar Pesha in the passage before by Hashem. So Davar, what's Davar? Dibur. So even just saying, I will go ahead and use it in front of witnesses is like tantamount to going ahead and being Shlach Yad. So Bishami, I mean, we see Machshava just like Maisa. Beis Hillel says, no, you have to actually use it. Shnamar, the pasuk says, if you didn't touch it. I'll call Davar Pesha, which is Nashma Dibur. Samalan, Beis Hillel said the Beis Shammai. Pasuk Masha says if he didn't touch it, the Maisi didn't touch it. He just said he was to touch it. So he came out to Malayma. I'll call Davar Pesha. You might think Ainli Elahu. Only if he's the shemer and therefore he does an action, that's when he's considered to be shaloch yilad. But however, Amar li'avdol shluchav, he said to a shaliach or to a servant, and he tells him to go ahead and take revis from their minayin. How do you know that's considered to be shaloch yilad? Tamalaymer, I'll call davar pesha even by just commanding someone to go ahead and do it. You're chayiv. Therefore, that's the reason you're chayiv. Then we said he'd be a v'not if he went
so not only the eved or the person that you were was your shaliach, but you yourself are chayiv.
Well, remember, if he tells, well, you're the one who's chayiv, you're the shemer, right? And my job is to watch that barrel of wine, right? So if I tell somebody else, hey, go get the revisa that yain for me, right? So I am still considered shalach. I'm shalach yad in that case, right?
So it's not just the person who does.
Exactly, right. And therefore, even when if he was going to use it into something and put it back or whatever it was, but once you move it and you pick it up for a kinyan, that's considered to be shloch bayad, and therefore if an einstein happens afterwards, you're chai for that einstein, even though normally you'd be a pater for that einstein. Now, saying be so Amar Shmuel loy natal mamash doesn't mean he actually took it. Ela kevan sheikbia, once he picks up litol to go ahead and eventually use it later, af bishlo natal. So us is lema kosav Shmuel. Let's say Shmuel holds shlichus yad ein tzirich chisaron. Maybe so we see over there just by picking up and putting it down and not using it yet. Nevertheless, you're chai for that's considered shloch yad. So maybe therefore we see that shlichus yad does not need any sort of monetary loss. Somebody said, no, it's even shaliacha the nichle di havi lo hachavis. Actually, skip the line. We'll go back to it in a second. It's going to be a very strange thing. Actually, yeah. So he says, Yeah, because I went to the wrong two dots in the Gemara. That was my problem. So I'll go back to 1 minute. So he said, "There's the buses the So no, in that case, even though he picked it up, he didn't do anything else. But why pick it up? He wanted the rest of the wine in there because the rest of the wine supports the Revis Yayin. So therefore, his intentions is considered Ki'ilu like he's on like the whole amount, right? It doesn't mean that he took it up, but once he looks it up, it's like he used it all. Now, just go back to the previous two dots. I apologize for this. We said he tips the barrel. So I'm a Rabba. Rabba says, Loishanu Ela Nishbra. We're only talking about if it broke, it was Einus. About Hichmitza, but if it's soured, then Misham Sakula, and he moved it and he tilted it, then he's high for all of them. My time it was the reason. Right? Because it was like his arrows that caused it, and it was his indirect movement that perhaps could have caused it to sour the wine, and therefore, just by tipping it over, by moving it over and only really intending to take revis, never everything because it really caused it. Now, go back to where we left off before. Boy Ravashi. So we have 4 lines from the end of the parak. By Ravashi, he'd be arniki. So he just by a barrel, the rest of the wine is like a support for. Therefore, you're chayv the rest of the wine. What about a purse? He'd be arniki lito imena dinar to only to take a dinner from it. Mahu, what's the lacha there? Do we say chamru deloy mintar? Do we say that wine? Have you watched Allah Agav chamru? No, but only with it's the rest of the wine. About zuze mintar, but a coin to be watched wherever it's at. It's just a coin, right? It doesn't go bad. A duma shutting the turasa, the arniki, maturasa didar. But maybe it's easier to watch a purse than watch just a single coin, and therefore, really, he wants the coin and the rest of the purse, right? So the Gemara answer is with the take. The Gemara does not give a tear to that. So
There it goes.
all right. Now, many people consider. No, so you can still the other part. So many people consider the Ezu Neshech is one of the hardest prakim in Shas. I personally feel that Hazav is more difficult than Ezu Neshech, but time will only tell. So let's see. So we got a big 3 first prakim in Bamatzia were a little easier. Now we start to get into the more difficult Gemaras of Bamatzia. Now, so the first thing to know, let's start. Hazav. Koines akesef and a koines hazav. So it literally means gold acquires silver, but silver does not acquire gold. What's going on here? Now, whenever there is a transaction, right? When I buy something off somebody, right? So one of the items is going to be, right? The general case is, right? So Avram is very important. So this is important for the entire parak, right? So whenever someone buys something, right? So in the transaction, one item is going to be the merchandise, which is we call the payros, and the other item is called the tabas or the coins or the money. So money purchases merchandise, right? Even though normally it's an exchange. I go to the store, I get apples, he gets a couple dollar bills. There's an exchange there, right? It's not just an exchange. One is the money, the other one is the payros. Now, the way kinyanim work is that a person makes a kinyan on the merchandise. Once you make the kinyan of merchandise, now the sale has done. If the money hasn't been paid yet, it must be paid. Okay, but if the merchandise was not taken over yet by the buyer, right? Even if the money was handed to the seller, that doesn't necessarily mean the transaction is done. Right, so just because because the seller, right, just because the seller takes the money first, right, it doesn't mean that you own anything. So therefore,
again, that means the guy could change his mind.
Right. So there's the Mishnah. We'll get into it. So now, so let's understand the first line of the Mishnah. It's very important for the entire parak. So it says that gold acquires kesef because gold is like the fruit. In other words, you're buying gold with silver. Right? It's not an exchange. We'll soon see this because of equal exchanges. Listen, it acquires kesef, meaning if I pick up the gold, the transaction occurs and the money is due. Okay? Like if I the silver. Like if I pick up apples, I have if I pick up apples, the other guy has now acquired the money. Right, and just if he hasn't paid yet, you got to give him the money. But the transaction has happened, so therefore, hazav koines kesef. Hazav, which is treated as merchandise, acquires the money, right? The money. And hakasef ain't a kohen. But if I just give the money, the guy's buying, gold for silver, the guy just takes the silver, ain't a kohen hakasef. Any kohen, excuse me, that's a zav. He's not acquired the zav. Why? Because the coins that were given is only the money. Money doesn't affect the transaction. It's only lifting up the merchandise, the payros.
It's worded funny. So
Right. So when it says acquires, it doesn't mean that like money, like this could be yours for $100. So the money acquires that for $100. That's how it works. What it works is you pick up the book that you're buying for $100, and now once, right, if you're selling me this book, right, you're selling this encyclopedia, I pick up this encyclopedia. Once I do this, you have acquired my money. That's what it means. Hazahav, right? Kainas akesef. You now acquired my money by me taking this. Okay, but akesef.
He gives you permission first to do.
Well, of course, right. But that's when the transaction happens. But therefore, if we say, okay, it's $100 for the book, and I didn't touch the book, and you take the $100, I have not acquired the book yet. I can say, you know what? Forget it. I'm not going to do it. You're going to money back, right?
Wow.
So azab comes the kesef, akesef, and azab. Now nechayshes. And now there's going to be two aspects over here. I'm going to introduce two concepts right now. Hopefully, this way the Gemara will flow. What makes currency, right? What makes something money, right? So it could be, and therefore, remember, if something is value, right? This is very economist would probably like this Gemara, right? So something, yeah. So we say in this case, so we're going to go with simply that something which is in more circulation, right? Something more circulation is going to be the currency, right? Everyone has dollars, right? Everyone's going to have a certain coin. That coin is more in circulation. Therefore, that makes it the currency. If it makes it the currency, that means the other item is the payros. The other item is the merchandise. Taking the other item acquires the money. So now, once again, so the chayshes, the copper acquires money, meaning kesef, silver, is still more in circulation. It's more of a currency than copper is, right? So the goes a kesef and just picking up silver does not allow the other person to acquire the chayshes. Now, mosaros, money that's basically out of circulation, kainas is a yapos that acquires the yapos, meaning that since the other ones are the money, the ones in circulation are the money, so therefore picking up the old what are they called? The old Israeli, what was it? Lira. Right. Thank you. Right. Pick up the old lira, right, would acquire the shekel, but picking up shekel will not acquire the lira. Right, it's just a coin that has not been minted yet. Kaina, because that's considered to be merchandise. Acquires as a matbea, coin that's in circulation. Matbea and a coin is a siman. Metaltalin. Now we're going over that rule like we're pounding in our heads. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Just catch us up. What the principle of the copper doesn't require
because
silver?
We're assuming that silver is more in circulation. It's more common.
It's
right?
more too.
It's like the dollar bill versus the $2 bill. Since it's more in circulation, more people have silver, so therefore more prices are based on silver or settled, right? So therefore, that's considered to be the currency. And if it's the currency, therefore that doesn't affect the transaction. The other item is going to affect the transaction. So Kain says as a matbeya. So say, but Taltlin, here's the rule: acquire as a matbeya, acquire coins, right? Currency, the fruit, the merchandise acquires, and then the matbeya and the currency ain't a coin as a metaltlin. I call metaltlin coin and zed. And let's say there's a transaction, you barter something, you trade, right? I'll give you this, I'll give you my car, you give me your motorcycle. Call metaltlin coin and zed. If one of them makes a kinyan, now the other one has acquired the other item. So Kate, that's the mashachim and a pay raise for the lasalamos. So now we're going back to the cases like which we already explained. So one who goes, then he does a kinyan on the shich on the fruit, and he did not give him the money yet. Right? Since he acquired it, he can demand the money. However, Nasan doesn't get the money, doesn't take. He doesn't take from him. Payras, and he doesn't take from him from the fruit. Where you can go ahead and be chayzer. We say aval amru. We're going to say mishapara. Now we're going to throw out this parak. We're going to have something called mishapara. Mishapara is basically based on this mishnah. It says, however, over here, right? Aval amru. But they say if a person, let's say, gives money, he says, you know what? I'm not buying. Give me my money back. He's allowed to go ahead and do it. Aval amru mishapara miyanshe dorababu Umidor haflaga. Whoever was the one who paid back the people of the Mabul and the people of when the what's it called when they tried to build the Tower of Bavel, those people in the flood, right? He who paid them, i.e. Hakadosh Baruch Hu, right, punish them, right? He should also punish a person who doesn't stand by his word. So if I say I'm going to go ahead and do something, I'm going to buy that book from you, and I give you $100, and I change my mind to give my money back. So he is violated. He's allowed to do it, but it's a violation of mishapara. In other words, it's like a curse. Like the person is cursed for not keeping his word. And Rabbi Shimon Aimer, kol shekesef biyado yada yada. No, not exactly. In that case, if once the money changes hands and the guy wants to be chayzer, the guy who received the money can hold on to it. So Rabbi Shimon argues with that. He argues and says, right? He says, money is handed over. No, it's just if you say something, then the kinyan is done. If you give the money, the kinyan hasn't been done yet. Well, you can't take back the money.
Without
Right, but you can't take back that money. So you might as well get your item. Let's see the Gemara. So Mas Nisan. So excuse me. Mas no Rabbi Shimon. So Rabbi was teaching Rabbi Shimon, Berei, his son. So he taught him this. Hazav koines hakesef. He's teaching our Mishnah, right? When you go ahead and make a kinyan on the gold, it acquires the kesef because the kesef is the currency. So Amar Le, Rabbi. He says Rebbe. I assume he doesn't mean because people called him Rebbe, but it could be like his master, right? Because it was Rebbe teaching Rabbi Shimon, who's the son. And Rabbi Shimon said to his father, Rebbe, right? Shanisi lana biyadusecha. You taught us in your youth years ago, hakesef koines hazav. Opposite. That the silver, picking up the silver acquires the gold. In other words, the gold was the currency, and the silver was the merchandise. And now you do the opposite, that gold acquires the silver. So he said, in my youth, so what did he hold in his youth? In other words, why was the gold back then considered the currency? It was like Nusa, my saver, and also Yadusa. My saver is like Nusa. Excuse me, I read it wrong. Yeah, this is my saver. It's like Nusa, my saver. Knows what did he hold in his youth, and what did he hold in his old age? Do so when he was younger. And I was opposite of our Mishnah. Saver dava dechashiv havi tiva. The one that's more precious, i.e., the gold. Therefore, gold is considered to be the currency. So everything is based on gold. That's the currency. It's a kaspa the like chashiv. However, the silver though was not as chashiv. So peri havi. Therefore, that was considered to be the fruits. The kanile pere the tiba, and therefore the fruits acquire the tabas, and therefore the silver acquires the gold in that case, because the gold is the money. However, when you got older, savar he held, and I was what I missed savar kasba the charif, right? That the silver, which is more in what's it called, in the circulation, right? The charif havi tiba, therefore that's considered to be the coin, but the coin, the gold was not as in circulatory. Havi pere, and therefore that's the fruit. But kind of they pere the and therefore the fruit acquires the gold, the currency. Fine. Two lines to the top. Amar Abashi, ki al do say mistar. Now we're going to make a couple of proofs. So it's logical to say like you did in your youth. In other words, that gold is considered to be coinish. Why? By the fact the next case taught that copper acquires kindness a kasef. So to be if I understand why you have to teach us, because legabi dava pere havi, that if silver by gold is considered to be pere havi, right, is considered to be a fruit, the merchandise, that's why you have to teach us that the requires the kasef. The apalpi, the legabi dava pere, because even though it changes forms, even though silver is considered to be the coins by the gold, it's considered to be the merchandise havia. The gabi nechoshes tabas havi. Then, but nechoshes it switches functions. Eli Marta kaspel gabi dava tava havi. But if you say that silver and gold, that the silver is the currency, so havi hashta the gabi dava the chosh, even though that gold is more expensive, right? And you would think that maybe therefore it's more expensive, therefore it's considered to be the currency. It's considered to be coins. So the gabi nechaysh is the chashiv. So therefore, copper, which in itself is more chashiv, charif. Big boy, right? In other words, that since it's more used and it's more expensive, certainly it should be considered to be merchandise. Why would you have to teach that? So Gemara says no, Easter. You still need a sagod Isaakamina Hani Priti Basra. The sagi inu charifi tvei mikasva. Maybe think of places where copper is used. Copper is the most common. So ema tavi, and therefore maybe the copper is considered to be the tabas. So kamash balon that the copper in the chayshis is considered to be the peiros, and the silver is considered to be the currency. Okay, but the loy sagi the peiros.
So the
Right,
places taught the opposite.
Right. So the question is
So in that place.
So they want to say, the proof is otherwise you don't have to teach us copper. Now it changes. In other words, the rules by circulation may be changed, and therefore you have to teach both. Therefore you have to teach both cases. But according to the old way, right, there's no chiddush there. So you might think, no, maybe I would have thought that copper is the reason why the Mishnah has to teach us the second case is that even though that some places copper is indeed more in circulation, therefore that should be considered to be the coin. Kamash Malon, the Mishnah teaches the second case that in the Chayshish, the copper is the merchandise and silver is being used because globally silver is being used as the currency.
Credit card as a cost.
The cost, yeah. Because more circulation, yeah. A lot of places don't take, can't go to baseball game. They don't take cash anymore. You're right. But Reb Chia Savar Dava Tavi Happy. And even Reb Chia thought, right, or held that gold is considered to be the coin. Right, the Rav, that Rav one time, I think he lent from his daughter. Yeah, I guess I think he lent dinar from his daughter, the Reb Chia. The Saiv Yakar then went up. Dinari. So then the gold coins went up. So he borrowed gold coins when they were $500, and all of a sudden, okay, I'm buying 2 gold coins. I'll return it to you. Then all of a sudden, it comes time it's $700 when he returns it. So wait, are you allowed to do it? So
for ribis?
Yeah, for ribis. So since they're very good. So also because you go ahead, you can pay him its weight. In other words, like this. Normally, I can't borrow this. It's sub. We're going to see mostly the next parak is I can't go ahead and borrow bushels from you this week, and I'll pay you next month because it could go up in price. And therefore, if I give you the same amount right back, I'm giving you more value. It's like ribis, right? So therefore, you're not allowed to go borrow merchandise and return the identical merchandise because a saw, a saw, right? It was a measurement for a measurement is considered to be ribis because the price might go up, and you're getting more in return that you lent out. Now,
Price could up.
but you're allowed to go ahead and give money and get the money back, even though money might have different value, might have different, right? So over here, he said,
Inflation.
right, he borrowed money, but the money was more valuable. So if it's considered to be merchandise, you can't borrow gold and return gold because it might go up in value. But if it's considered to be money, you're allowed to borrow money and give back the same amount of money, right? So he mastered it in that case. So it must be that gold is currency and not merchandise, right? So it says if you say the peri is considered merchandise as sabasa, v'aser. And therefore, in that case, we say that he was able to do it. And Rav, right? No, the word says no. Maybe Rav Dinari Havilu. Maybe he really had money. But Kavan the Havilu Dinari Nasa Kaimer La Halvani Ashiyavo Bani or Achemsa Maftech. Now, there's a special heter for sabasa. I'm allowed to actually borrow a bushel of corn from somebody, as long as, let's say I want to borrow a bushel of corn from Mayor. I'm going to borrow from this week my bushel of corn, and I'll return to you next week. So normally you can't do it, but
What? The value's going to change?
because the value is going to change, the value is going to go up, and I will return more in value than you got back.
The only issue if it's a different form of payment, it's like the same exact thing.
If it's the same item, but I'm using up the item, so it's a commodity. So therefore, something can, or it's something that can go up in value. So now, right? But if I borrow a bicycle and I give you back, I just want to borrow your bike. I can give you back your bike. That's fine. That's your bike, right? But over here, I'm borrowing a bushel. I'm eating it. Then I get buy a new bushel or whatever it is, and I return it to you, right? But let's say I have bushels. It's just all the way far in Lincolnwood, and I need it here. So as long as I have it and I just it's just another location. It's just a matter of time. So therefore, it's not Mayor acquires that basically immediately. Therefore, if it goes up in price, it goes up already on him. So therefore, it's not an issue as long as they have an existence. So to this case, really, he had gold. It was just in the safe. The safe is closed on Sunday, whatever it was. So therefore, he wasn't able to go ahead and do it. So Amar Rav,
Your neighbor comes and says, I forgot to get challahs,
right,
No.
can I borrow one?
right.
Since they're not giving you back that challah, they really can't. Give
Right, so in that case, all right, so let's discuss that case in Ezra.
But he has to give you,
Let's discuss that case in Ezra. All right, we'll see. That's a rivers. We have to get to the rivers.
you return me.
So Amar Rabba says Rabba. Hi Tana. So
You received the money.
yeah. So that case, we say no. Even if it was payros.
If you didn't receive the money,
What do you mean?
your
What about-
your parents in Lincoln, he owns it. The value went up. He didn't take
Right.
it yet, but he has to give you the
But-
gold first.
No. He was lending me apples or whatever it is, and I was giving him apples. But I'm allowed to go ahead and borrow apples and give apples as long as I have apples somewhere. It's just farther away. Because I'm basically trading him those apples by the time. The apples you're giving me right now, because I need them right here, versus the apples over there. Right? So therefore, that's not considered to be go up in time. It's when you borrow something and use it then, that's the issue, right? So obviously if it wasn't given over yet, there's no issue yet, right? It's when the exchange happens. Now, also, this following Mishnah, right, also holds that gold is considered to be currency, right? Like the Yaldus of Rebbe. The Tana in the Bryce is a pruta shavra. The pruta we say echad mishone is haritalki, so is 1/8 of it is haritalki. So lamai nafkamina, what's the nafkamina there? The kadush isha, in order to be makadishon, has to be that amount. Okay, that's separate. That's not for our case now. Isser echad mishon the dinar shal kesef, and isser is 1/24 of a dinar of silver. Some lamai nafkamina. So what's nafkamina? Lamai kuchamemcher. That has to do with ripping off some more than a sixth. In cases of business, that's also not for us. Now, dinar shel kesef, a dinar of silver is echad mi esrin v'chamisha b'dinari shel zahav. Is one, so a dinar, a silver dinar is 1/25 of a gold dinar, right? 1 to 25. That's the price of the difference, right? So 1/25. So lamai nafkamina, what's nafkamina? L'pidyon rabben. But pidyon rabben. What's going on here? So a person, the Torah says a person has to give 5 shkalim in the Torah, right? Which comes out to 5 is 4 to 1, is sela to 1. So therefore it's 20 salai, right? So 20 or dinarim, right? So I'm doing the same thing. So it's really basically 20 of them, right? So therefore that's 20. A gold is 25, right? So it's 4/5, right, of a golden dinar, of a golden dinar. All right. 1/25 of a golden dinar. Now, I understand if gold is considered to be a coin, havi mashar tana b'mida the kites. In other words, that the Torah is setting something. In other words, it's always that gold is a currency, and therefore the amount you give a coin from opinion of Ben, right, is always 4/5 of a golden dinar. Eliyamar to pay Ravi, if you just say it's merchandise, having a shire, that's linked to. So tiny to the ikar of a zeal, right? I understand. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to say that Torah, you have to go ahead and give something to the Kohen, which is not a fixed amount. Sometimes you have to give a gold dinar and you get change, and sometimes you get a gold dinar and you still owe. Right? The way you look on it, sometimes you have to go ahead and give the Kohen extra. So Elish, Mamino, Tavi Shmamino. Indeed, learn from that Tana must hold that gold is considered to be a currency. And we have another proof. So Tanan Hasim, we learn over there, now a person goes ahead and Meister Sheni, right? Meister Sheni, person has to go ahead and bring his produce to Yerushalayim, eat it there. The person has so much produce, what is he going to do? Go ahead and put the money, exchange it and redeem it into money and bring the money to Yerushalayim. Let's say I start redeeming it to gold coins, but I got a big farm. I'm very rich, right? So now I got all these silver, but you know what's easier than carrying 1,000 silver coins, right? Carrying, 200 or even less than 25 gold coins. Kill gold. So I exchanged my apples for silver.
Well, it's
The silver.
to
Now I
gold.
want to take silver to gold. So am I allowed to do that? So you can't go ahead and you can only redeem for money, but you can't redeem for dinar zav.
Sounds like overrated questions.
Beis Hillel matirim, and Beis Hillel says you're allowed to go ahead and take your silver and put it into gold to make it easier to travel. Now, Rabbi Yochanan, Reish Lakish, Kadamar machlokes the Salayim al dinarim. One holds that the machlokes is only between, right? Go ahead and take it from silver into gold. The Beis Shammai savri kaspa tavi is the Beis Shammai savri kaspa tibe, but dava pere that silver is the coin and gold is peros, and I can't go ahead, right? If I have 1,000 gold coin, 1,000 silver coins, I can't go ahead and take that money and redeem it on a diamond and bring that diamond to Yerushalayim. It's much easier to travel with because you can't redeem currency from Sheni onto merchandise. And therefore, Beis Shammai says you can't go ahead and take the currency, the silver, onto the gold, because that's merchandise, right? So he says, Beis Shammai says, and you're not allowed to go ahead and redeem it.
Really, Bet Shammai is sticking more to
Like what we're saying, like exactly. Beis Hillel no kaspa pere, but dava tibai. No, silver. The silver is peros, and therefore the coin, right, and the gold is now the coin. And therefore, you're allowed to go ahead and basically redeem merchandise, i.e., the silver, with your currency, your gold. And you're allowed to go ahead and redeem your peros with coins. About peros al dinarim, but when it comes to just the fruits, to straight to the gold. Everyone holds you can be mechalal. My time, what's the reason? Means to have a kesef leBeis Hillel. It's like kesef when it comes to Beis Hillel, right? So even though Beis Hillel holds that when it comes to gold, silver is the currency, but when it comes to silver and actual fruit, the silver is the currency. So there, so me did have that kesef leBeis Hillel, just like the Beis Hillel, kesef leBeis Hillel, silver according to Beis Hillel, afaga the kesef legabe dava peri havi, even though. Right, that silver when it comes to gold is considered to be the peros. Nevertheless, the gabi payro, but when it comes to fruit itself, then the silver is to be the currency, and zav nami, and so too gold also. The Beis Shammai, according to Beis Shammai, afagav the dav the gabi kansa. Even though when it comes to silver, it's the fruit. Havi the gabi payre tivai havi. Right, but when it comes to fruit, then it's the coin. The other one holds no. After Peros al dinar machloikas, the other one says no. Even when it comes to going ahead and redeeming from the crops directly onto the gold, Beis Shammai also says also machloikas, right? After Peros al dinar machloikas, the Lamadim after Peros al dinar machloikas. According to that opinion, holds that even fruits to the dinar machloikas. I understand. So Adam Ifli was selling the line. Why do you have such a small chiddush of exchanging that you can't go ahead and exchange silver onto gold? Leafleg make a bigger chiddush. The peros al dinarim, that you're not even allowed to go ahead and take fruit onto gold because gold is a merchandise forever. The guy says no. If it just said the peros al dinarim from merchandise onto silver or onto, golden dinarim, I would have thought. Hani mil peros al dinarim. This is only because it's al dinarim. About Salayim al dinar, but it comes to silver onto gold, maybe Beis Hillel would agree that you can't that you can't do it according to Beis Shammai. The dava the gabi kaspa peri havi. I would have thought that the gold by the silver is considered to be all merchandise, and therefore you can't be mechalat. Kamash malon that in other words, even in that case, Beis Hillel says you could do it because even though sometimes gold is considered to be a merchandise, other times it's considered to be currency. I will stop here. Go back, everybody. So,
United States.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
The Alex on every.
Yeah, you know.